Hello and welcome. My name is Roger Markarian. I want to welcome you to my program, Inspired by Speaking. I'm a DTM and have been speaking for the last 15 years. My vision is to help individuals who have challenges writing and speaking. In this program, you will hear others' inspired messages. Throughout this video, you will hear tips, tricks, and ideas to become a better speaker and writer. Allow what you hear to resonate so you can take action. Learn from those who are taking action right now. Thanks for being here.
Hey guys, welcome back to Inspired by Speaking. My name is Roger Markarian. It is great to be here. I want to share with you a guest today I have all the way from Australia. My guest today is David Gillman. Now, I do want to tell you, I met David Gillman on an international Zoom call. It was fantastic. I noticed something very interesting about David when I was listening to David, and that was in his background, like you see right now, he has a book. David, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from exactly, so people who are watching know. Just a small tidbit that we should know about you. David, welcome.
Thank you, Roger. G'day, everyone. G'day to all the viewers and listeners out there. My name is David Robert Gillman. I am currently 45 years old, and I currently live in a sleepy, somewhat busy area at the same time, but kind of rural and kind of not area called Sunbury in Victoria. So being in a kind of a rural area, we have to be careful how we look after our pets out here. We even have brown snakes and tigers to worry about too. So it's not just the odd neighborhood dog that we got to worry about. Snakes are pretty nasty as well.
Wow, I didn't even think about that, but dingoes for sure. I had no idea you had tigers. So there's tigers actually that run around the area?
Tiger snakes, I should have said.
Okay.
They're a type of, we call them tigers in Australia. It's just quicker. Yes, tiger snakes are very venomous and very dangerous. Australia, the last I heard, Australia had 9 of the 10 most venomous snakes in the world. And believe it or not, 2 of them live in our backyard.
That's amazing. Well, let me ask you a question. What inspires you about speaking?
Public speaking is a way to share what's up in your mind with the rest of the world. When you look at a person, you're essentially looking at a walking library of information. Now, okay, that can be controversial because some people may have information that is not quite right and not quite correct. So you have to be just as careful with the information you receive from certain people. Usually you have to rely on your gut instinct about certain people and what you listen to, what you take on board and what you nod to and say, oh, yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing that with us. And then you move on and you learn something else. But I think public speaking particularly is very handy, and it's just like any other thing you do in life. It's a learned and practiced trade.
David, I completely agree with you. It's learned, but most importantly, it is practice. Public speaking is definitely a skill. It's a skill set that you develop over a period of time. I love this analogy too, David, that you shared. I agree with you. Everyone is a walking library. That's a beautiful thought. And in fact, if you just resonate on that thought a little bit, think about the possibilities of what people can write about and what they can share and the experiences. One of the best thoughts I've heard in a long time. Thank you for sharing that. In fact, talking about public or a library, let's talk about the book. This would probably be a perfect segue. I got to be honest, I was intrigued the very first time I saw your book. And in fact, I was looking at the title, trying to see it. And then I saw it and I thought, this is another inspiring thing. There are so many people that want to write a book, David. So share with us, what was really the premise behind the book? Just in a snippet, what might you say about this book?
Let's say you're looking for some help. You might be worried, or you might be in a state where you might even be feeling a little shame because you've fallen into a difficult time and you don't know who to turn to. A book does not talk back to you and it doesn't judge you. It's there. You can grab it quietly without anyone knowing. You can be secure reading the book. It shares with you its knowledge. And then you can decide whether to use it or change certain things in the book to make it work for you. Yeah. Or if it doesn't resonate with you at all, throw it. Find a better book. But it's a lot easier than going down into Google, deep dives, finding bits and pieces of information, losing lots and lots of nights, trying to find bits and pieces to help you along with your journey. One book saves you a lot of time, like this one.
So I love that. I love the fact that you share with it as a journey. How true is that? What was that moment of inspiration?
It was 2016.
Uh-huh.
And I was doing my first term as a life coach in training. I was trying to pay off my life coaching class. I was just starting my course, and I got a call 6 o'clock in the morning that my family business was nearly destroyed in a fire.
Wow.
Wasn't an attack directly against us. It was an arson attack next door to us, but it nearly wiped us out as a result.
Wow.
Our family business is just a humble printing business. We print sashes, we make rosettes for the presentations industry in Australia, New Zealand, and around the world. Initially, I was a life coach. I was trained to be a life coach, but I just felt that we've had so many attacks to put us out of business, including our own Victorian state government here in Australia, going into opposition against us, using our taxpayers' dollars against us to wipe us out of business.
Unbelievable.
We had to fight them off, and then suddenly we're confronted with no business. We're put out of business. Our factory is nearly destroyed. All our machinery is nearly destroyed. And I was sitting in class and I'm going, life has tried to wipe me out. It's tried to wipe out my living. Why should I put up with this? I'm going to write a book, and at least that way, I'm still here. And that's what my book was about, because it wasn't the first time it happened to me. It happened to me as a 12-year-old, not going too deeply into detail. I nearly tried to kill myself with my dad's shotgun.
Huh.
I had to talk my way out of that because there was no one else around. I didn't have any help. My teachers were apathetic to me struggling at school. Kids were bullying me. I was losing my friends. In fact, I only had one friend left and I was too distant from him to see him every day. I didn't know who to turn to. My parents were always at work and I'm just cut off in the world. And I don't know where to turn. I didn't have internet back in 1988.
That's right.
Nobody did. And I couldn't find a book. The closest book I thought might help me was Herb Cohen's You Can Negotiate Anything. Couldn't help me. It did not help me at all. And I was left scratching my head until the day I asked for help for some homework. My mum couldn't help me. And I snapped. And there was no one to save me except me. I wish I had this book behind me to pull me out of my trouble. I didn't have it. I had to learn the hard way. Read this book. You get to do it the easy way.
Love it.
You get to try hard. You get to use hard-earned lessons from my book, from what I've learned. Why learn the hard way? Learn the easy way. Such a cheap cost. One book.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great message and very, very inspiring. I mean, obviously, you had to go through some challenges to grow through those situations to become the person that you are today. So you said 2016. When did you actually put pen on paper and start to write the book? You were inspired in 2016. When did you actually decide, you know what, I'm just going to do it? Tell us a little bit about that.
I was in the middle of my life coaching course. My life coach instructor is named Australia's greatest brain untrader. His name is Rick Schnabel.
Huh.
Rick Schnabel is the closest I could get to Tony Robbins, your best life coach instructor probably not just in the US, but probably in the world as well.
Yeah, I would say.
I hope I'm not stepping on anyone else's toes by saying that, but
Oh, yeah, I don't think you are. I think I would probably agree with you. Tony Robbins is probably the most well-known life coach teaching NLP throughout the world. He is amazing. He truly is amazing. But okay, please continue.
well, Rick suggested to all of us in the middle of this class, if anyone's interested in writing a book to promote their life coaching business, stay back and I will talk you how to do it. I'll do it. And there was only one other person who stayed with me in the class. Everyone went home. It was like having my own personal Tony Robbins right there in front of me. Rick Schnabel, if you are watching this, by the way, please do not be offended, but you are great. But he just stuck with me, and he stuck with my other fellow life coach.
Nice.
And he just gave us the basics on how to structure a book, how to write a book that involved NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
So you're an NLP guy too, huh?
Yes, we're all NLPers.
Yes.
And it was fantastic. I left 7 o'clock, my head was spinning, but I'm just going, somebody just handed me an answer to the universe.
Yes,
I
I
didn't
agree.
have access to this before.
I totally agree. I think NLP is so inspiring. You know, a lot of people will read books in NLP. It's completely different from actually experiencing NLP. Techniques are so different from the time you read it to the time you actually implement it. It's so different. You know, I'm kind of intrigued also. In fact, I'm very intrigued by this coaching class. The instructor gives an amazing opportunity, a gift to all the students, and all the students walk out except 2. It goes back to what we talked about earlier regarding practice. You know, we talk about people who speak and people who go up and do presentations, and there are some people who go up and go up and go up and continue to go up. And the reason why they want to do that is they just not only want to get better at it, they want to conquer this. They want to be great at speaking. There's no doubt about it. And yet here was this opportunity where Rick said, I have this gift for you, and only 2 people took advantage of it. Good for you for taking advantage of it. Obviously, not only was it life-changing, it's been such a catalyst for you. In fact, maybe tell us a little bit about something in that was so inspiring or intriguing for you.
The main thing I learned out of the night is the 4 quadrants of writing a book. It's a cross. Essentially, there are 4 questions. What if, how, what to do next? Essentially to that basic form. I do need to go back and actually give you the most perfect quadrant of that, but that is essentially what it was. And I never heard of this in my life. You're basically asking a question, putting it out to your reader, and then saying, okay, here's the problem. What is the solution? How do you go about it? Where to from here?
You know, the what if part that I'm so intrigued by in NLP, what if you implemented some of these things? How might it change your life? I was always intrigued by those 2 words, what if, what if, what if. How long did it take you to write it, just out of curiosity?
It took me 3 years to write it and edit it and get the cover for it, get it all nicely edited. It was expensive to do it because I've never written a book before. I love stories, but to write them accurately, to research certain figures, it took forever. And particularly, it gets harder when you work full-time during the day.
Oh, yeah.
When you rebuild a family business from it nearly being burnt down to rebuilding it, getting it up and running again, putting in long hours, and writing a book at the same time, plus doing more dance sport training, starting karate. I was just on the verge of starting karate back then. I was just doing some basic warm-ups before we actually started back to a local dojo. Yeah, and I was just writing at strange hours of the night, 11 o'clock till 2 in the morning. I'm getting up, I'm pacing, I'm rattling my brains. I'm playing inspirational music to keep me focused and anchored to the task at hand. And I was thinking to myself, okay, even if just one kid reads this book and it saves his or her life, I can die in peace.
I believe if we can change one person, just one person with our ideas, our thoughts, what we say, how we say it. We're all here to help each other. We're all here to serve each other. And the more we give, I believe the more we get. And I think when we write something like this from our hearts, we're doing it to inspire people. And obviously, you've done this to inspire people. There's no doubt about it. You had to overcome early on and had to surpass those challenges to get to the levels that you're at right now, which is really outstanding. What do you think?
Hey guys, I hope you absolutely loved that interview with David Gillman. David Gillman, all the way from Australia. He was an absolute fantastic guest. I really enjoyed all the nuggets of information he left. Notice all the challenges he had to overcome to get to where he was. If you'd like to get a hold of either David or me, by all means, send me an email on inspiredbyspeaking@gmail.com. Don't forget to leave us some positive feedback. Please be a subscriber. We'd love to hear from you more. If you'd like to be on the channel, by all means, send me an email. I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Again, thank you, David, for your participation, and here's some great nuggets from today's interview.